Hi everyone, welcome to Narayana's digital classes. So today we will discuss some problems in friction chapter. Okay. So let's move to the first problem. A body is moving down an inclined plane of angle of inclination theta, and for which coefficient of friction varies with distance as mu is proportional to kx. So mu at any distance x is k into x, okay, where k is a constant. Sorry, this is mu of x equals to kx. Yeah, where x is the distance moved by the body down the plane, then the net force on the body will be 0 at a distance xp is. So the body is trying to slide down on an inclined plane. So it started here, and after moving to a distance xp, the net force has become 0. Distance moved by the body down the plane, the net force on the body will be 0 at which point? So what are the forces acting on this? So here this is mu equals to kx. Forces acting here are component of its weight, that is mg sin theta, and since it is sliding downwards, friction acts in upward direction. Okay. So when will this be at rest, or when will the acceleration be 0? When net force is 0. So we see that mg sin theta should become equals to the friction acting. Friction acting is mu into normal, mu into mg cos theta. So friction acting is mu into mg cos theta. Okay. So you can see that tan theta by k is x. Okay. Okay. So the distance travelled after which net acceleration becomes 0 is tan theta by k. Okay. Next, let's move to the next question. Yep. Two boxes of masses 4 kg and 2 kg are in contact with each other on an inclined plane of inclination 30 degrees as shown in the figure. The coefficient of friction between 4 kg and the inclined plane is 0.3. So here mu value is 0.3, and here between 2 kg and the plane it is 0.2. So mu value here is 0.2, or let's write it as mu1 and mu2. Okay. So now we can clearly see friction is more for this. Friction coefficient is more for the 4 kg block. So it should move slowly because there is more resistance on it, more friction on it. 4 kg should move slowly, 2 kg is trying to move faster. So on 4 kg, 2 kg is trying to apply a pushing force, normal force. We need to find that force. So obviously here 4 kg and 2 kg, after the normal is acting, they should move together. Because they are in contact, they should move together. So now I take it as a single object. Okay. I take this whole mass as a single object. Two frictions are acting, I can say. And on this mass, what are the forces acting? Its weight is acting and the friction is acting, and you need the contact force between the blocks. Okay. So if I take it as a single block of mass 6 kg, okay, or even if I take them separately. So friction here is friction between the 4 kg and mu value is mu mg into cos theta, right? So friction here is or friction between the 4 kg block and the surface is mu mg cos theta. So mu here is 0.3, mg is 40 into cos 30. Okay. Similarly, friction acting on 2 kg block is mu into mg cos theta. Mu is 0.2 into mg cos 30. So I can say on this total block of 6 kg mass, there are two frictions acting, some of these two frictions, right? So on the 6 kg block, their weight is also acting. Weight of 4 kg and weight of 2 kg along the plane is acting. So that is mg sin theta. And two frictions are acting. Let's say they are F1 plus F2. Okay. Now I can say it is moving together because they are in contact, and let's say the acceleration is A. Let's say it has an acceleration A because of these two forces. Okay. So now how do I find that acceleration? Net force is 60 sin 30 minus of F1 plus F2. Okay. So acceleration of both the blocks is 60 sin 30, that is 30 minus of F1 plus F2. F1 plus F2 is, here I can say 12 cos 30 and here it is 4 cos 30, total 16 cos 30. Net force by the total mass 6. So acceleration becomes 16 cos 30, that is 16 into root 3 by 2, 8 root 3. So 30 minus 8 root 3 by 6. That is the acceleration of both the blocks. Now I need normal force between them. So I take free body diagram of any one of them. So let's take free body diagram of the 2 kg block. So on 2 kg block, its own friction is acting upwards. So that friction is 0.2 into 20 cos 30, right? So that is 4 cos 30. Friction acting is 4 cos 30. Its own weight is also acting downwards, and normal is also acting. Okay. Normal, due to the contact between them, is acting in upward direction, pushing force. Right? So this force weight component is 20 sin 30, that is 10 newtons. Okay. This is component of the weight, and normal is acting in upward direction. Together, I know it has an acceleration A. Okay. As an effect of all this, it has an acceleration A downwards, because both are moving downwards. So both have the common acceleration A. So here I can write a force equation. Net force acting on them is m into A. Okay. So what's the net force in downward direction? 10 minus n minus 4 cos 30. Okay. So I can write a force equation that 10 minus n minus 4 cos 30, that is 4 into root 3 by 2. 2 root 3. So that should be equals to m into A, 2 into acceleration. Okay. So 2 into, I say 30 minus 8 root 3 by 6. So I can find normal value now. Okay. So normal is 10 minus 2 root 3. Okay. So normal is 10 minus 2 root 3 and take it to the other side. So minus 1/3 of 30 minus 8 root 3. Okay. So I got normal value. Okay. So here we need to assume that both are moving together. Okay. When there is a normal between them, which means there is a contact between them. So if there is a contact between them, they move downwards with an acceleration A. Okay. So let's move to the next question. So in the given figure, the wedge is acted upon by a constant horizontal force F. Wedge is moving on a smooth horizontal surface. Ball of mass M is at rest relative to the wedge. Okay. So ball of mass M is at rest relative to the wedge. Okay. And now there are two cases. The ratio of forces exerted on M by the wedge when F is acting and F is withdrawn. Okay. So when the force F is acting, it is at rest. It is at rest with respect to the wedge. So we can say again they are moving together. Okay. So we can again say they are moving together, or you can say this is at rest with respect to this. So let's say their acceleration, common acceleration is A. So I get F equals to m plus m into A. Total force applied created an acceleration in both of them, even on the wedge, even on the ball. Okay. Now I know the acceleration of the wedge, so I take an observer on the wedge. Right. So with respect to him, if I draw the free body diagram of the ball, what are the forces acting on it? Its own weight mg sin theta is acting. Mg cos theta is acting here, and he is a observer who has an acceleration A towards right. So he is a non-inertial observer. You should consider pseudo force in opposite direction. So you have pseudo force also Ma, and you have normal perpendicular to the plane. Okay. So now this observer says it is at rest. With respect to him, this is at rest. So nothing is moving. So net force should be 0 in all directions, right? So I take components also for Ma. In this direction I get Ma cos theta, and in this direction, that is perpendicular to the plane, it is Ma sin theta. So now I need normal in this case. So normal in this case is mg cos theta plus Ma sin theta. This is the normal acting when the force F is acting, and if the force F is not acting and if it is at rest, we say just n is mg cos theta. So in the first case, this is the normal. In the second case, when there is no force and still if it is at rest, so we say normal in the second case is just mg cos theta. Okay. We need ratio of them. Normal when the force is acting and the ball is at rest. Normal when the force is not acting and the ball is at rest. Okay. You just need the ratio of them. So g cos theta plus a sin theta by g cos theta. Okay. A value is F by m plus m, we can say. Next, moving to the next question. Body is released from rest from the top of an inclined plane of length L and angle of inclination theta. Top of plane of length L by N, okay, this is L by N, N greater than 1 is smooth and the remaining part is rough. If the body comes to rest reaching the bottom of the plane, value of coefficient of friction is. So there is an inclined plane of inclination theta, and let's say total length of the plane is L, okay. Inclined plane of length L, so total length of the plane is L, and L by nth part, that is some part of the plane is smooth and the remaining part is rough, okay. The top plane of length L by n, so let's say this part, okay. The top plane is smooth and then the remaining part is rough, okay. So remaining part is L minus L by n, okay. So this part is rough and this part is smooth. So until L by n there is smooth floor and then there is rough floor. Now if I leave a block here of mass m from rest, so its initial velocity is 0, right? And by the time the block reaches here, it gains a velocity v. And now because of the friction, by the time it is reaching the bottom, its final velocity is again becoming 0, right? That is what he says, if the body comes to rest reaching the bottom of the inclined plane. So here it gained a velocity because of gravity and it lost that velocity because of resultant of friction and gravity. Okay. So now I know that when there is only smooth plane, the only force acting is mg sin theta. So for the smooth part, acceleration is g sin theta, okay, in downward direction. Okay. And when there is rough plane, there are two forces acting, right? When there is friction acting, you can say mg sin theta is also acting, and since there is sliding, friction acts, which is mu mg cos theta. Okay. So what is acceleration in this case? G sin theta minus mu g cos theta. So I say this is acceleration in the second part and I say this is acceleration in the first part. In the first part there is only gravity, g sin theta. So now I need to find n value, L by n, and the remaining is L minus L by n. So what do I have? I have accelerations, distances and velocities. How do I relate them? Basic kinematic equation, v square minus u square equals to 2as. So for the first part of the journey, final velocity is v, initial velocity is 0. So I say v square minus u square is 2 into acceleration in the first part is just g sin theta into distance travelled is L by n. Okay. Next, for the second part, final velocity is 0 and initial velocity is v square. Okay. So final velocity square minus initial velocity square for this part, that is 2 into, and acceleration is given as g sin theta minus mu g cos theta into the remaining distance L minus L by n, okay. Or you can say L into 1 minus 1 by n. Okay. Now I need to find n value, so either I can divide them. If I divide, v square gets cancelled, I will get L by n value. Okay. So if I divide them, what do I get? I get g sin theta into L by n by g sin theta minus mu g cos theta. Okay, g gets cancelled simply. So in the denominator I have sin theta minus mu cos theta into L into 1 minus 1 by n. Okay. So that is equals to the ratio here. The ratio here is minus 1. Okay. So again L also gets cancelled. We get 1 by n by 1 minus 1 by n. So 1 minus 1 by n, after multiplying with minus 1, it becomes 1 by n minus 1 into n. I am taking this 1 by n also towards this side. So that becomes simply sin theta by sin theta minus mu cos theta. So here on the right side again, if I multiply, I get 1 by n into n, that is 1, 1 minus n. 1 minus n is sin theta by sin theta minus mu cos theta. Okay. So that's it. So here I get the total n value. N is 1 minus of this whole fraction. So we are just using the basic kinematics equation for the first part and the second part. Okay. V square minus u square is 2as. Again here v square minus u square is 2as. Next, let's move to the next question. A duster weighs 0.5 newtons. So its weight is given. Total force, gravity force is 0.5 newtons. It is pressed against a vertical board with a horizontal force of 11 newtons. Okay. So on a vertical board, this duster of 0.5 newtons, okay, its weight is 0.5 newtons, okay, that is pressed with a force of 11 newtons. Okay. So normal acting should also be 11 newtons. Okay, since this is in equilibrium, the normal should be equals to 11 newtons. The minimum force that must be applied on the duster parallel to the board to move it upwards. So to move it upwards, we should apply a force in upward direction. Let's say that is F. So when you are trying to move it upwards, friction will also act in downward direction. Okay. Now I need to find this upward force, the upward force that I apply so that I can move it upwards. Okay. So how do I find friction here? The maximum possible friction is mu into n. So the maximum possible friction is mu into n. Mu is given as 0.5 into normal is given as 11. So that is 5.5 newtons. So the friction acting is 5.5 and the weight acting is 0.5. So the applied force should be equals to 0.5 plus the friction. Okay. That is 6 newtons. Okay. So minimum of 6 newtons should be applied so that it can move upwards. If you apply a force, it should overcome the gravity and also the friction so that it can start moving upwards. Okay. So it should be 6 newtons. Okay. Let's move to the next question. An eraser weighing 2 newtons is pressed against the blackboard with a force of 5 newtons. Coefficient of friction is 0.4. Force parallel to the blackboard required to slide the eraser upwards. Just the similar question. Okay. So this time eraser is weighing 2 newtons. So it has its weight 2 newtons. Okay. And the blackboard so it is pressed against the blackboard with a force of 5 newtons. Okay. So which means normal acting should be 5 newtons. And now again I need the force that should be applied in upward direction so that it can move upwards. So when it is trying to move upwards, obviously friction acts in downward direction. Right? So again I say applied force is 2 plus F. Okay. The applied force should overcome the gravity force and also the friction force. Okay. So I need friction again. So friction possible or friction maximum is mu into n again. Okay. So mu here is given as 0.4 and normal is 5 newtons. So friction is 2 newtons. Okay. So total force that you should apply is 2 plus 2, 4 newtons. Okay. So we need a minimum of 4 newtons upwards so that it can overcome gravity and friction both. And let's move to the next question. Next, there are two walls perpendicular to the plane of the diagram. If 1 and 2 are taken as x and y axis, so this is taken as x axis and this is taken as y axis. Okay, there are two planes here. Okay. Planes perpendicular to the whatever you are seeing, planes perpendicular to this board, there are two planes like this. So there are two planes like this and the block is kept here between the two planes. Okay. Then the minimum force required to move the block along z axis. So you need to move the block along the z axis, that is outwards. Okay. So we can see that block is in contact with this plane, the block is in contact with this plane also. So there are two frictions possible because it is in contact with both the planes. A contact is here and a contact is here. Right. And you are trying to move it in z direction. So both the frictions act in opposite direction. Okay. So here also friction acts into the plane. You are trying to move it out of the board, so the friction acts in opposite direction, into the board here, also into the board here. But how do I calculate friction? I need normals at both the surfaces, right? So if it has mass m, one component of the weight mg cos theta acts here and one normal acts here. Right? So normal force is acting here. So one normal force is acting here, that should be equals to mg cos theta. And here is another component of weight, that is mg sin theta. So the normal at this contact should be equals to mg sin theta, right? So let's say friction acting here is F1 and friction acting at this surface is F2. You are trying to take it out along z axis. So friction acts in opposite direction along minus z axis into the both direction. Okay. So total friction acting is F1 plus F2 because both are acting opposite to the motion. Right. So friction F1 is mu into n. So mu at both the surfaces must be same. So that is mu into normal at the first surface is mg sin theta. Normal at second surface is mg cos theta. Okay. So now I can say the total force acting is mu mg into sin theta plus cos theta. Okay. This is the total friction acting. So we should apply exactly the same force so that it starts moving. Okay. Minimum force required to move the blocks mu mg into sin theta plus cos theta. Along z direction. If you apply force along z direction, equal and opposite frictions act along minus z direction. Okay. Yep. Let's see the next question. Next, consider a 14 tire truck whose only rear 8 wheels are power driven, means only these 8 wheels can produce acceleration, which means the automobile can have acceleration due to friction acting on the tires. So only the last 8 tires are responsible for the acceleration, are responsible for the friction. Okay. These 8 wheels are supporting approximately half of the load. If the coefficient of friction between the road and each tire is 0.6, maximum attainable acceleration is. So out of all the tires it has, the last 8 tires, they are carrying half of the normal. Okay. And only these are responsible for friction. Okay. Or friction, or these are responsible for forward force of the truck. Only the last 8 tires. So he is saying these 8 wheels are supporting approximately half of the load. Sorry. So the normal acting here is half of the load, half of the weight. So normal acting on all the wheels together is half of the total weight, mg by 2. If the coefficient of friction between the road and each tire is 0.6, the maximum attainable acceleration is. So what is the maximum possible friction here? Maximum possible friction is mu into the normal acting. Mu into the normal acting here on these wheels is only mg by 2. So mu value is given as 0.6 and weight, okay, this is maximum, fine. This is maximum force, you need just maximum acceleration. So maximum acceleration is maximum force by mass, you will get maximum acceleration. So this by mass will be 0.6 into g by 2. That is 0.3 into z, 3 meter per second square. Okay. Only because of this normal there is friction acting on these wheels, that friction is giving it a forward push so that the truck can move. Yeah, next, here is the next question. A boy of mass 25 kgs slides down a rope hanging from the branch of a tree. If the force of friction against him is 50 newtons, boy's acceleration is. So there is a rope hanging, the man is holding it, okay. He is holding it like this and he is just sliding down. So when he is sliding down, obviously this surface, the hand surface is sliding down. So on the hand, friction is in upward direction, right. So if I take the free body diagram of the man, he is holding the rope, but this is how he is holding. And when he is sliding, friction on the sliding surface, friction on the hand is in upward direction. So I can say here there is friction acting, that is 50 newtons. So friction acting on his surface, he is freely sliding, okay, he is not pulling the string, we can say is freely sliding on the string. So the only force that is acting, contact force, that is normal, contact force, that is friction force along the vertical direction. So the friction force is 50 newtons and his weight, he is of mass 25 kgs, so his weight is 250 newtons, that's it, there are no other forces. So you will have an acceleration A downwards. We need to find this acceleration, net force by mass. So net force is 250 minus 50 by mass is 25. 200 by 25, so his acceleration is 8. So he can fall down with an acceleration of 8. Next, a block of weight 100 newtons is pushed by a force F on a horizontal rough plane, moving with an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. When the force is doubled, the acceleration becomes 10 meters per second square. Okay. So there is a block of weight 100 newtons. So I say that is of mass 10 kgs. This is being pushed by a force F on a horizontal rough plane, and it has an acceleration of 1. So here it has an acceleration of 1, and this is rough floor. So friction is also acting. And since there is sliding, I can take friction is in opposite direction, which is mu into mg. Resultant of these two forces creates this acceleration. Okay. Now when the force is doubled, its acceleration becomes 10. So the same case, 10 kg block, now the force is doubled, but friction remains same. Friction depends only on mu and normal, they are not changing. So again friction acting here is mu into mg, but this time we got an acceleration of 10. Okay. So now we need the coefficient of friction between the floor and the block. Okay. So let's write force equation for this. So here I get F minus mu mg equals to m into a, that is 10 into 1. That is first equation. And force equation here, 2F minus mu mg is equals to m into a. So 10 into 10 again. Okay. So now here I need mu, I don't want the value of force F. So I multiply this with 2 and then subtract them. So if I multiply, the equation becomes, multiply with 2, the equation becomes 2F minus 2 mu mg is equals to 20. Okay. And this equation I take it as it is, 2F minus mu mg equals to m into a, that is 100. So just subtract them. Okay. So if I subtract them, I get minus 2 mg minus mu mg, or if I subtract 2 minus 1, okay, so minus mu mg plus 2 mu mg. Okay. Mu mg is equals to 8, and clearly weight is already given as 100, mg is given as 100. So mu into 100 is 80, mu is 0.8. So mu is just a fraction, no units. Mu value is 0.8 in this case. Okay. Yep. Here is another question. Initial velocity of the block is 45 I cap. So it is moving with a velocity of 45 towards right. Okay. While the external force acting on it is 25 minus I cap. So there is an opposite force of 25 newtons. Coefficient of static and kinetic frictions are 0.3 and 0.2 respectively. Distance travelled by the block in 10 seconds. So first it has a velocity of 45 towards right. So that means it is already sliding towards right. So initially friction will act towards left. So as long as it is sliding, this force is always acting, the 25 newtons force, and friction is also acting, right? And initially it has a velocity of 45 meters per second. So clearly this is sliding, so the friction acting is kinetic friction. So kinetic friction acting is mu into normal. So mu k is 0.2 into normal is 100. So that is 20 newtons. Right. So we can say net force acting in opposite direction is 25 plus 20, 40. So how do I find acceleration? Acceleration is force acting is minus 45, that is opposite to velocity, by the mass. So acceleration of this block is minus 4.5 meters per second square. So what happens to the velocity slowly? Slowly the velocity reduces because there is an opposite acceleration or deceleration. Slowly velocity reduces and it should stop at some point. After traveling through some distance, it should stop. Velocity suddenly becomes 0. And then if the 25 newtons, if it is able to pull the block backwards, it will again start moving backwards. Okay. So now let's say somewhere here the velocity becomes 0. At what time the velocity becomes 0? Let's check that first. So for the velocity to become 0, I use v equals to u plus at, 0 equals to u plus at. Acceleration is minus 4.5 into t. Right. So I get 45 equals to 4.5 t, or t is equals to 10 seconds. Okay. So in the first 10 seconds, it traveled some distance and it stopped here. After 10 seconds, it stopped. Okay. Now there is a force of 25 newtons acting and there is no velocity. That means there is no sliding. So now if this 25 newtons is greater than the static friction, the block will move. So let's check that. What's the maximum friction or limiting friction possible? Mu s into normal. So mu s is given as 0.3 into normal is 100. So 30 newtons is limiting friction. So this force will not be able to move the block. So after 10 seconds it stops and stays there. It cannot come back because the force applied is less than the limiting friction. Okay. So we need to find only the distance traveled for the first 10 seconds. In the last 2 seconds it is not able to move. Okay. So how do I find distance? I can use v square minus u square equals to 2as, or I can use s equals to ut plus half at square, any of them. Okay. So if I use v square minus u square equals to 2s, or let's use s equals to ut plus half at square. So distance is ut, initial velocity is 45 into t, ut plus half into acceleration is minus 4.5 into t square. Distance is ut plus half at square. We need distance traveled in 10 seconds. So that is, we can say 450 minus 450 by 2, that is 450 by 2. Okay. In the last 2 seconds it doesn't travel, because in the last 2 seconds, after 10 seconds, this force is not able to move the block. Next, here is another question. A block of mass 2 kg is on a horizontal surface. Coefficient of static and kinetic frictions are 0.6 and 0.2. The minimum horizontal force required to start the motion is applied, and if it is continued, velocity acquired by the body at the end of the second. Okay. So there is a block of mass 2 kg on a horizontal surface. Coefficient of static friction is 0.6. So mu s is 0.6 and mu k is 0.2. The minimum horizontal force required to start the motion is applied. So what is that force? How much force is required to start the motion? The force applied should be just equals to the limiting friction. So the limiting friction possible is again mu s into n. So mu s static friction is 0.6 into normal is mg here. So that is 20. So 12 newtons is the limiting friction. So you applied exactly 12 newtons or just the required force so that it starts motion. But once it starts sliding, only kinetic friction acts. So what happens after this instant is, you are applying a 12 newtons force to start the motion, and once the motion starts, only kinetic friction acts. So kinetic friction acting is mu k into normal. That is 0.2 into 20, 4 newtons. Okay. So there is 12 newtons applied and 4 newtons friction is acting. So net force is 8 newtons, 12 minus 4. So acceleration of the block is, net force is 8 by 2, 4 meter per second square. Now what do we need? Velocity acquired by the body at the end of second. Velocity after 2 seconds. V equals to u plus at. U is 0, a is 4 and time is 2 seconds. Okay. So that is 8 meters per second. Okay. Once it starts the motion, the friction acting will be kinetic friction. Okay. Yep, thank you.